Today we'll discuss input variables and output variables. I'm installing the Terraform. We have Amazon Linux here. Then we need to configure the AWS credentials also. So here instead of configuring the credentials, I'll export the credentials. So we need to get the programmatic access. So that's the reason we need the access key and the secret key. But at any point of time, we can create only 2 access keys and secret keys. We have already those. That is the reason I'm going to say instead of passing as AWS configure, I'm passing as an environment variable. Here export this access key. Exported as done. So these two commands we need to type now. I exported those two. Then, so we have already one script is there to build the infrastructure. So I have saved that one. Main.tf. See here, if you see the script, if you see your script, see here, we have a region is there. What is the region? US West to 2. And what is the AMI ID? Instance type, we have treated as micro. Example, app server. So these all the values, we have the hard-coded values. For reusability, we need to declare them as, for the reusability, we need to declare them as variables. So those variables are called as input variables. So what is the advantage of using the input variables is I can pass my own region. I can pass my own AMI ID or instance type or tags whenever I'm executing the script. So that means the same script can become reusability and we can pass our own values. Okay, so that is the reason we are going to declare all the variables in variables.pf. So where we are going to define all these in the variables.pf file we are creating. In this, we are going to declare all the variables, whatever we have. Like here, we have hard-coded the values. Means directly we pass the values, but in the like coding standards, okay, or in the automation is not recommended to go for the hard-coded values. You need to separate them from your script and keep them as the input variables. Which is what is the advantages. Whatever the values you want, you can pass it. Okay, so that's I'm going to do now. So here we have defined input variables. Today everyone need to finish this tutorial. So here we have already like this. So what is the variable they declared in the variables.ts? What is the name of the variable? Instance underscore name. And what is the keyword?
Variables.
Okay, I'll create one more file. Variables.tf. Okay, so we have declared one variable called instance underscore name. And but what is the by default value for that? What is the by default value? Example app server instance. I'll save this one. And in our main.tf also, so we need to pass our variable. Say as of now we have example app server instance is there that need to be modified with our own instance. Say that for that purpose I'm going to go to main.tf. Here we have the hard coded value. Instance underscore instance underscore name. That means whatever the variable we have declared, here that value we are passing. Then here you no need to hard code the value. So whatever the value there we given, that value will comes to here. Here I need to do first time I'm doing this. So that means I need to do Terraform now. Terraform plan. While doing the apply, I'll pass that variable. So now, without using anything, I'm applying now. Apply. Say, if I don't give any value, it gives in the default variable, the value is the example app server. That value only I'm going to get it. Okay, so one resource got added. Say the Terraform show. If we go and see in the Terraform show, we will get it. Example app server itself. Example app server. But now I'm going to give another name for that. Say how I can pass is while applying, I'm passing as a command line. Happen var instance name equal to yet another name. So that means I'm passing as a command line. Then this will modify example app server into yet another name. Okay, example app server is getting replaced to yet another name. That means the variable is getting replaced. Okay, so like this we can pass. Otherwise, we have one more method is there. I'll create one file. Okay, so I'll create one file here, try to understand. Terraform dot TFS. So in this, I'm going to keep my yet another name again. Only values only and passing variable Terraform dot TFS. So this is Terraform.tf also in this location itself. Now I'll do Terraform apply. We'll see which value will get it. Okay, so now yet another name has taken my yet another name. That means if you declare all the variables values in Terraform dot TFS. Okay, so from this automatically it will take. That means the first preference is Terraform dot TFS. Otherwise, command line we can pass. How we pass through command line? Item where we use. Otherwise, in variables, we have default value. So that means when we declare the variable, we given a default value. What is the default value we given is example app server. From that it will take. Okay. So another method is here is I'll give it as okay. So one resource has been added to this. I'll do one more thing. I'll create one more. I'll create one more file called production.tms. Here I'll keep one more value. production, I give this value I'm going to keep. We have 10 variables in my script. For all the 10 variables, I'm going to declare the values. For production, I want some values. For QA, I want some values. Then create different files like production.tfvars or QA.tfvars, like that we can give. Then I'm going to apply here. I'm not going to declare as a variable. I'm passing as a variable.file. Production.tfvars. If we don't give anything also, it will take the values from Terraform.tfvars. Taking the value from production.tfvars. Any doubts on this?
Sir, there is one small doubt that if we run this Terraform refresh command, right? So will it again set to the default values?
No. If it actual resource changes, then only refresh will bring that.
Okay, got it.
In the actual resource, if any changes are there, that's going to bring it by refresh.
Understood.
Okay. So why we are taking QA.tfvars or dev.tfvars? If you want to use the same script for 3 environments, dev, QA, staging, production, like this, then we are going to use
those specific files, right, sir?
those specific files. If we don't use Terraform.tfvars, it will take.
Okay, by default, it will go with this Terraform.tfvars.
Otherwise, from the command line we can pass. Otherwise, in the variable itself, we have Terraform.tfvars.
Got it, sir.
Okay, so the same opposite to input variables. Okay, we created an instance. We got a lot of details from the Terraform show. We can see that, but I want important details like maybe instance ID or public IP, private IP. So these are all the details we can store in the. So these are the details we can store in the output variables. So we are going to declare one more as output.tf. So we're going to define as one more is there called as outputs.tf. In this, what is the keyword?
Output, sir.
Is the keyword. Okay, so then one is instance ID we got. AWS underscore instance is the resource. App underscore server is the name of that. Yesterday we given JPMC VPC, right? Then you need to use JPMC VPC. By default in the VPC they given main. If you use main, AWS underscore VPC dot main dot ID. So like this we need to use. Okay, so here I'm going to declare outputs.tf. Okay, so here how many outputs are there?
2 outputs, sir.
2 outputs. I'll create one more output file. I'll give here private IP. Here this is private underscore IP we need to say. So we have three outputs now we have defined. So now when I do Terraform plan and apply. Now if I don't give any variable, again it goes to example app server itself. So here if I do Terraform only apply, if I do, again it takes from default value only because I didn't pass any TF vars like that. So why it got my yet another name? Why here we got my yet another name?
That's the default name, sir.
If you have terraform.tf var file in your local directory, that is having high priority. If you don't give anything also, terraform.tf var always having the high priority. Okay, so now here we got three outputs. What are those?
Instance ID, instance private IP.
State file also, but important details we can store in the output variables. You understand? So here we have one command also. Terraform output. So it shows those three values. So it shows those three values. Terraform output will show us. And here if you go for this, so we have terraform.tf vars file. So terraform.tf vars like is having terraform.tf state. Terraform.tf state is a state file. Okay, so by default, state file stores in local directory. But if multiple developers are working in our environment, okay, so everyone requires a shared access. We are using remote backend. Okay, so everyone should have the same state file access is required. If everyone stores locally, that is not possible. Okay, so we are using free bucket as our state file. So we are using S3 bucket as our state file. Okay, so try to understand. I'm going to create one S3 bucket now, and then I'm going to use as my state file. So I'll go to S3. Bucket. Terraform Cloudsoft S3 is the name I have given, and I'm going to keep this one in the Vest2 itself because most of my Terraform resource also I have created in the Vest2. Get access with the remaining all default options. Created my Terraform.cloudsoft.s3. So here the backend type we are using is S3. So this code we need to use. So what is the bucket name? This is the bucket name. This west 2. Your path, whatever you want, you can keep. Terraform state.key. In my script, I'm going to use this code. This backend we need to add to our script. So we have already main.tf. If you don't define any state file, by default it takes local state file. But now we are going to add a remote backend to your script. This one. Now again we need to init. Why we need to init is we have changed our backend. It's going to initialize the backend. So now from the local backend to it is changing to S3. Yes, successfully configured the backend. Now again we need to do the Terraform. So locally we no need to keep the state file now. Everything now going to store in the S3 bucket. Terraform apply -var instance underscore name remote backend. I'm going to give here. I'm passing my command line value. Remote backend, we are going to get it. And it shows the 3 output values also. So now, if you go to your bucket, that state file would be created in the bucket. Okay, so we given the path is here we given the Terraform state. So that is one folder name. In this key, so this is having your backend state file details. In the JSON format, it is stored. Okay, so all the public IP, private IP, everything has been stored in the JSON file. So now no need to change this one in the local. If you have the multiple developers also, everyone are going to use the remote state file itself. Okay, so this, instead of this, here in this we have one tutorial. So they store the state file in Terraform Cloud. Means you can create an account in Terraform Cloud. Instead of using state file in S3, we can keep in Azure. Azure we can store. Terraform, so which cloud we are using, there we can store the state file also. Okay, so as we are using AWS, we are using S3. Today finish this one also. Try to store in the Terraform cloud also. So in the Terraform cloud, you create an account and log in with the Terraform login. So here we have all the steps. Try to do all these. Okay.